manipulated it in the first place. As I mentioned in my last lecture, that through Tavistock mind control, this was the reason for the introduction of abstract art into the societal mindset. It was a means of distortion to twist, condition, and confuse the perception-making ability of reality art, of reasoning art, so as to distort our ability to experience and see ourselves through the artist's depiction of everyday life. The political, conscious art of the late 50s, 60s, and 70s, art that depicted the conditions of life, our history, every day, for us as men and women, reminding us of where we were as a people, was trashed by so-called art experts who told us what we should like and what we should not like. So canvases full of splattered paint, geometric lines, palm prints, glued on sticks and twisted metal became the desired art of contemporary society. Art originally was the way to creatively show the community, the village, little snapshots of themselves. Today, it's all about how much some hermaphrodite agent from Tavistock Central tells you that your art is worth. Today, property, opulence, and ownership is everything. You could be dumb as a head of cabbage just so long as you got bling on a string. Doesn't matter how you get it. You are held in the highest esteem. A nigga with a 3 IQ, like 50 Cent, gets respect. To be honest in this society is to be poor. The scam known as religion is the mental concept behind every other money-lusting scheme. The religious God is the #1 scam, the alpha scam, with politics being #2. Thus, power is the God the Father, money is God the Son, and murder is God the Holy Ghoster. Break it down. This threefold principle of demonic gods recruits our children to become members of their religion, the religion called patriotism. Oh, these bastards claim that there is no prayer in school, but that's a lie. Every morning in school, from kindergarten up, our society teaches them to put their hands over their hearts and promise to kill and plunder every motherfucker that comes up against the red, white, and blue. Every morning our children pray to the red, white, and blue gods of gold and power and money and murder. And where is the reason? Where is the reason? Well, let's start looking at what that word really means. Phil, you want the pointer? I got it. We snatched up a little something. All right. Reason. Raison. See, I'm up to date now. Reason. Computation. To count. To calculate. To think. A statement offered in explanation or justification, a rational ground or motive, a sufficient ground of explanation or logical defense, the thing that makes one fact intelligible. What's that word there? Cause. In other words, when we exercise reason, we automatically fall into the realm of cause. We go behind the veneer, the illusion, to exercise our consciousness, to know what this thing really means. Life is a series of hieroglyphics that we have to decode. And reason is the teacher. The power of comprehending, inferring, or thinking, especially in orderly, rational ways. We don't have time for rational thinking. We got to make money. Reason, intelligence. Reason denotes intelligence. Proper exercise of the mind. Let me say that again. Proper exercise of the mind. What's the next word? There's no more reasoning. Thus, there's no more sanity. The sum of the intellectual powers. Treatment that affords satisfaction. A formal accounting. See reason. Justify me. Rightly. All the words. To use the faculty of reason. To make part of conversation, discussion. To talk with another. As to influence his actions or opinions. To justify or support. Blah, blah, blah. What are you going to reasonable? Agreeable to reason, not extreme or excessive, moderate, fair, inexpensive. You teach reason, you stay poor. You see these words you put together. Reasoning, the use of reason, drawing up inferences. An instant of the use of reason, argument, not based on support by reasoning. Senseless. When you're reasonless, you're senseless, which means your four senses shut down. The part of you, that faculty of the intuition, no longer is able to calculate for you, and so your emotions, your lower essence emotions, take over. By definition, reason seems to be up for grabs for individual interpretation. By implication, reason is based on what one has already experienced as reasonable. It implies that true reasoning is based on the fact that those who are reasoning together are truthful with each other, offering up all of the facts for consideration. But if one of the parties involved in the reasoning is purposefully denied or impeded from having all of the facts, it is not an exercise of reason, but an exercise in manipulation through conceptual conquest. An exercise in manipulation through conceptual conquest. In other words, I'm going to argue you into the ground with a fact and a point that ain't real, but I'm just going to overwhelm your senses and make you tired, which is what they do every day. In the newspaper, you keep getting it over and over and over. When is the shit going to stop? It stops when you don't buy the shit no more. The ability to reason is in the truest sense of the word, is being listen carefully. The ability to reason is being genetically bred out of us with each successive generation. This child is not going to be taught how to reason in school. The only reasoning that child will have will come from their parents, if their parents are reasonable. This ability was seen as odd in the robotic character Sonny in iRobot, who represented the degenerating or the connection between generations X, Y, and Z. How the hell could you reason? You're supposed to be a robotic, non-thinking asshole. We've made you that way. You see what I'm saying? Transpose yourself. You are not supposed to be able to think for yourself. You are a drone. We made you that way. At this time, we're formulating you that way. How could you be thinking and feeling these things? How could you have a reasoning bone in your body or a reasoning cell in your brain? Well, let's just find out. The faculty of the brain that exercises reason is slowly being atrophied in our children. The contexts for the utilization of reason is now limited to the blind acquisition of money, power, and prestige. The brains of our children are being insidiously short-circuited by the corrosive curriculums of modern-day public education. Together with the continuous pollution from our skies through chlorofluorocarbons, lead arsenics and aluminum chemtrails, electronic pollution from HAARP, domestic lighting, TVs, computers, and the toxic fluorides and chemicals brewed into your drinking water, your toothpaste, and your soft drinks, and all of your foods. They have completely disconnected us from our universal Father and our terrestrial Mother. The toxic clouding of our skies is directly related to the toxic clouding of our brains. As I've said 1,000 times over the past 30 years, within our brains, there exists a blueprint, in this case a black print.